this thing on. Hi everyone, thanks for coming to tonight's special Ledig House Reading the World Conversation Series event, which is the third and final event of the Reading the World Conversation Series for the fall. We should, with a little bit of luck, be able to announce all the events for the spring in January, so keep checking the website or look for our posters, which we'll put everywhere and in all of your mailboxes in mass quantity. And before we get started, I want to introduce the Ledig House and our speakers tonight. I just want to thank the National Endowment for the Arts and the New York State Council on the Arts and the College of Arts and Sciences for making this reading series possible. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be able to bring our guests here today. So today we have 4 people who will be speaking and will be reading, all of whom are staying at the Ledig House, which is an International Writers Residency that DW will tell you about in a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just name each of the people up here, and then before they speak, I'll give a little brief introduction about them. So on the far end, we have Perihan Mağden from Turkey. Then to her right, we have Nir Baram from Israel. Then we have Tom Burke from the exotic place of Chicago. And then finally we have Susana García Iglesias, who's here from Mexico. And I'd like to introduce D.W. Gibson, who does a million things. I always refer to as the mysterious D.W. because he does seem to do more things than seem humanly possible, including writing pirate books, novel, helping run Mischief and Mayhem, a new publishing house that's connected to Or Books, running the Ledig House, being a scout, doing all kinds of amazing stuff. So D.W., would you come and say a few words about the Ledig House?
Hello, everyone. Ledig House is, we made a 4-hour drive up here this morning, and we're down in Columbia County, just off the Hudson stop on Amtrak, and we have about a 400-acre campus in the town of Ghent, and on the 400 acres we have a 150-acre sculpture park that is free and open to the public year-round. You should come check it out. New stuff every summer. And we have an international residency program for musicians, visual artists, dancers, and an architecture program and a writing program. And the writing residency program is called Ledig House, named after the German publisher Ledig Rowohlt. And so every spring and fall we invite up to 20 writers to come and spend some time with us, no more than 10 at a time. And of the 10 that we have at a time, no more than 4, generally speaking, are American. So we invite people from all around the world working in all languages and all disciplines, translators as well, because translators are very, very, very important. And that's the scoop. And so these are 4 of our lovely and talented residents, and you'll get to hear some of their work.
Thanks, D.W. Okay, so the first reader tonight will be Tom Burke, who was born in Chicago and is now the program manager of the Chinua Achebe Center for African Writers and Artists at Bard College. In the past, he served as director of summer literary seminars in Kenya, assistant director of the summer literary seminars in Russia, and as the events and promotion manager at Words Without Borders, an online magazine of international literature and translation. He received an MFA from UMass Amherst, and his work has appeared in Tin House and the Brooklyn Rail, among other publications, and is forthcoming in the St. Petersburg Review and the Colleges. So welcome, Tom Burke.
Hi, I'm going to read a bit from the novel that I'm working on, and it's called Everett and the Cosmos. I'm going to start on page 1. I stole a crystal from my mom on my second day back from China. The crystal was impressive, slight gray shading, the size and shape of a medium pine cone, but not very different from the other crystals in her collection. She kept all of them in her bedroom, which she'd shared with my dad until 5 months earlier, on the cluttered English garden of a desktop of her antique Federalist secretary. It was an anomaly, that new age hoodoo altar in a house that was otherwise every inch filigreed, calculated, and sterile. They were completely alien, the contents of Mom's estate sale secretary desktop. Dozens of crystals, incense cones and dusty bags, loose sprigs among bundles of sage, assorted candles, and 5 small brass urns holding ashes, pebbles, and sand. All of these things were of dubious purpose in my mind, which is why I wrote off the theft family does as the chunk slid snug into the front left pocket of my jeans. I remembered very distinctly Mom snooping through my bedroom at some point and stealing my things, partial images of her arthritic fingers prying behind and underneath my bookshelves, Mom supine on my Amish hooked rug, making snow angels in a pile of my assorted contraband. Liberating the crystal wasn't premeditated, but I did see that same crystal in a dream the night before. It apparently stuck with me from a few hours earlier when I'd done a perfunctory sweep of the house, taking inventory. I was home to help Mom move out of the house. The secretary was in the dream too, though it had tiny metal folding legs like a card table. In the dream, we met up, desk contents and I, at a dusty swap meet in August. All of us plopped down among equally colorful brother and sister swap meet tables and wandering hordes of swap meet dorks wearing fanny packs stuffed with peanuts and baggies of agglomerated loose change. In the dream, Mom was at the swap meet too. The new Mom, one I felt I barely knew, decked out in a purple muumuu, compromising said dork's calculated aisle space with her waltzing, waving of smoldering bundles of sage. Aisle cleansing, she said. That was my dream, me in the dankest corner of the swap meet, inexplicably chained to one of the secretary's metal card table legs, answering not only to the looks I got from the dorks as the sage smoke dissipated and their eyes refocused, but also pressed by other dorks to explain the significance of crystals, which is the sort of task I'd ordinarily shrug off. But in the dream, I knew Mom would starve if she didn't make some freaking sales. I was all heated whispers towards the aisle. Mom, get over here and quit with that sage, in between lies about the miraculous properties of certain pink and azure crystals. Mom was so content in that dream, so happy to cleanse. And me, when I looked at my torso, it was a composite of overinflated tubular balloons, twisted, knotted, squeaking at high decibels. Right then, stolen crystal, having had only a moment to adjust to its new home in my pocket, standing over Mom's altar for only the second time in my life, I didn't know the true catalyst of Mom's new bent. Everyone assumed it was the death of my dad that spun her into patchouli-scented oblivion, but I suspect her roots in this otherness were there earlier. Truth is, I only had ideas. I hadn't been home in over 2 years. I completely missed Mom placing her first spiritual knick-knack on the secretary, and I have no clue when one crystal multiplied into a semi-respectable rock shop. I wasn't anti-empowerment for Mom, and I'd never have categorized myself anti-crystal, not that I've ever given thought to that particular affiliation. On the contrary, it all seemed to have helped her, and regardless of what the muumuu in my dream might have implied, Mom looked slimmer than I had seen her in over a decade. Those crystals and rocks, in a sense, were awesome, earth and glory, etc. Disconcerting, though, was Mom's geological display, and imagining the kind of person who would buy up the quarry like that. But even more to the point, that collection was disconcerting because I didn't need to imagine who'd own such a thing. Mom was a prototype. Indeed, just I didn't know why. She was raised Presbyterian after all, and so I was too. My grandfather, Mom's side, was an assistant pastor at the Fourth Presbyterian Church of Rochester. The kind of detail Mom repeated to me on the 1,000 consecutive Sunday mornings of my childhood, most often before church and in response to pillow-muffled whimpers for 5 more minutes of sleep. And when I was younger and Mom was feeling sorry for herself, usually this was in the car on the way home from church, she'd go on about how my family had the minister over for supper every third Sunday of the month for years. Our lack of hospitality is disgraceful. On the Sundays Dad was in town and Mom released like that, he'd swerve towards the curb and threaten a U-turn so she could ask whoever the hell she wanted to